Yes, sir.
Wednesday. We're recording a day early because Montrell's got a Christmas party to go to tomorrow. How are you doing, man?
Pretty fancy. I'm actually all right. I got my performance reviews for my
Oh, okay.
job. I was really happy with that.
Good
Extremely
review.
happy with
You
that.
doing good
Yeah.
work over there?
Yes, sir. Yeah.
Okay.
And they definitely rewarded me for it. So,
Nice. That's good, man. That's
uh,
good.
definitely happy about that. I don't know. I cut my hair
I,
since the last time we talked.
I know you sent the picture, man. And I mean, the first thing that came to mind is, I mean, Montrell's gearing up for his dad phase. Like that. That's what I was thinking.
Yeah. So, I haven't had my hair that short since I was like 25.
Yeah.
Yeah, 25, 20, 24, 25.
Ooh, that's like 8-9
Um,
years ago. Damn, dude.
yeah, so my hair is not as bad as I thought it was.
Mhm.
So I can still do a fade and everything like that with it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I also took company pictures. I posted them up on Twitter. They had me take company pictures at the last event, and they did a good job because I don't look that good in person, y'all. But they
Don't
did a
listen to
good
this
ass job.
fucking guy, okay? Can I just say that? Don't fucking like he is a handsome fucking man, and he's always downplaying it all the time. Like,
But yeah, so they did that. Oh, I've been playing video games. I went back to playing video games and everything.
mhm.
So I'm not in the funk, and when I get to the games played, I made some strides with God of War and stuff like that.
Okay,
So
cool. So we'll get into that a little bit.
yeah. Uh, but besides that, I've been doing good. How about yourself?
I'm doing good. Since I came back from my vacation, work's been fine. I'm kind of just putting my head down and shutting up for the most part and doing my job. you know, and I'm finding that things are a lot better that way. When I say things, when I express my opinion, people either misconstrue said opinion or take parts of what I said and run with those parts that they want to run with, rather than the entire context of what I was saying. So I'm just not going to talk. I'm just unless it's absolutely necessary. I'm just shutting my mouth, for the most part. So as a result, it's actually been very good. Things are going smoothly. So that's good. Gaming wise, I feel like I'm playing like 80 games right now. But I'm not really, but it's just, I think I'm playing like 4 or 5 different games at the same time right now. And I'm like trying to get through God of War, but I'm like not making I haven't made really much progress since last week at all. I went through like a 4-day stretch last week where I didn't play it because I was either out doing something, we were recording the podcast, I was too tired when I got home, it's just like things happened in such a way. So I haven't played much God of War, but I did make some progress the last couple days. So we'll get into that in a few, but um the friend group is getting into Lord of the Rings online randomly out of nowhere, so I'll talk about that a little bit too. I've been playing that for sure, somewhat. Just started, only played like an hour or two, but so we'll get into that too. But all right, well, it's good to hear you're doing well. I think this is a good time of year, honestly. Generally, the
Yeah, I actually love this time of year.
me too.
I know it's really cringe for a lot of people, but I know it's like fake nice, but I actually like when people are just really good spirited. So
hmm
I don't even care if it's fake at this point.
Me too. I'm
Like I
kind of in
really
the
do.
same. I'm starting to feel the same way, man. I'm surrounded by. I feel like I'm surrounded by negativity a lot at my job,
Yeah.
and when I get somebody that's just happy or like positive around me, it's really refreshing.
Yes.
It's funny today. Like my team. So there's a TV in the area my team sits, and they, uh, one of the guys just put on a stream of a bunch of puppies in like a giant pen. And they just like playing with each other, and somebody would come in and like clean up a little bit or play with them for a few minutes or whatever, but it was just like an 8-hour stream of puppies for and it was really 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 nice. Like it
Yeah.
was just really cute. It's like I just went and sat over there for a while just to watch, just to like have that in my sphere of
Hmm.
vision, and it was like, it was nice. It made me feel good. So um
Yeah.
I'm just looking for positive things right now. So
Yeah. It's like one of those things where I used to hate Superman, And like even like Goku, right?
Yeah.
Like I used to hate like their positive attitudes, but
Yeah.
now I realize for Superman, in particular though, like the reason why he's so positive, being positive is a superhero trait in itself. Like
Yeah.
all the shit that he's seen through the comics and everything, he's still like, super fucking positive. He's not like
Well,
edgy like Batman. Like that's so
no,
fucking
yeah.
cool to me now.
You kind of right when you think about it, right? Because that is the human part of Superman, right? Like
Yeah.
Superman is a supernatural being, right? He can shoot fucking laser beams out of his eyes. He's super strong. He can fly. He's super fast. All that shit, right? But his brain, the way he thinks, I mean, that is the human element to Superman. And
Yeah.
yeah, I agree. I kind of agree with you. He could be hyper negative. I mean, like he's super close with Batman. You would think he would get negative being around Batman all the time, but nah, dude. He's like, you know, man, I'm Superman. Let's go save some people.
Yeah.
And that is like I think it's a mental thing in real life that I think all of us have to kind of come to terms with. Is I know it's like you said, it is corny to be super positive all the time. I mean, like Russell Wilson in the NFL is the prime example number one. Sometimes being positive all the time is not the right approach, right?
Yeah.
But but I will say in general, like, because when I was younger, when I first started my career at my current job, like I was like a hyper negative, very critical of everything around me, and it kind of hurt me for a long time at the place. And I kind of
Hmm.
changed my tune a few years back, and I'm like, I've made humongous strides in my career since that mental change. And I'm still not like a positive person all the time. I will say in my private life, I'm still fairly negative a lot, but I've been trying not to be as much.
Hmm.
Um, and it does have an effect on your mental state, period.
Yeah.
Like your ability to be happy, you know?
Yeah.
So I don't know. I mean, we're not a psychology podcast, but
Yeah. This
you
is our opening thing, but I mean,
hey man, we just
I
talk
I
about
feel the
life
same.
sometimes. It's good. I think being
Yeah.
positive is important though. It can be important a lot of the time. So
Yeah, and I definitely agree. Like for me, it's just like I've been getting out a lot more, doing a lot of activities, especially because I've seen Deanna. She does a lot of activities that she
yeah,
likes. So
yeah.
like for me, I tried to go back to the range a lot more. Even that, like I go hiking a lot, and that part, just getting outside, getting away from like
Mm-hmm.
technology and stuff
Mm-hmm.
like that. And when it's quiet and you just hear the leaves and everything and the water running when you're fucking by a river or something hiking, like it's
Soothing.
just really cool
Yeah.
and soothing and
Mm-hmm.
makes you appreciate a lot of shit. So maybe because we're getting old, we can appreciate a lot of stuff. Because I remember I was edgy in my 20s, but like
Me too.
uh I don't know. It's just
I thought
that
Batman was
shit
so
is,
cool when I was younger.
yeah, man. That shit
Like
is
he's
just
like the
stale now.
ultimate. He's what I want to
Eh,
be. It's like
Yeah,
if I could pick any superhero now, it probably wouldn't be Batman. If I was really
yeah.
honest,
I just think it's not corny because I understand the sentiment, but it's just like at the same time, bro. Like you just gotta learn how to make happiness won't come to you unless you make it yourself. So Um,
Or
yeah,
you
that's what I try to
you
bring to
want
the
it.
podcast
You
and to the
want it.
video games.
Yeah.
But sometimes video games just piss me the fuck off. Well, not the video games themselves, but the companies that run them. So we got to bag into them. But it is what it is.
Yeah, I mean, I think we're critical on the show, right?
Yeah,
But in general, I hope it shines through that we fucking love games. Like
yeah,
I fucking love games. I'm like a pig in shit right now. I'm playing all these games and I'm loving all of them. It's like it's great. I'm having a great time. So yeah, Montreal. All right, let's get into it. Uh, this is episode 198 of the Player's Take. I'm your host Justin DeSimone, and my co-host is Montrell Rice. Let me just go through the rigmarole real quick, and we'll get right into it. So we post at 6 a.m. Central Time on Fridays on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, and your favorite podcast apps of choice. If you'd like to send us a question, you can do so on Twitter, or you can send us an email to playerstake01@gmail.com. And that actually reminds me, we got a couple questions that I need to grab. But Montreal, while I'm doing that, let's get into what we're playing. And if you want to go first, so I can grab these tweets.
okay. I've been playing some Overwatch 2. I'm actually really enjoying Overwatch. I know we had like a bad game the other day, but I'm still enjoying it. I actually like it a lot. I've
Mm-hmm.
also been playing League of Legends. I forgot to put that on the list as well. I actually stopped playing Apex Legends. Like I
Mm,
announced
mhm.
my retirement from it, and I can't do it anymore. At all. Um, and we'll get into that later. But yeah,
Well, I mean, we can
it's
get into it
just
now. Why don't we get into it now? I mean,
okay.
that
Yeah.
whatever. It's
Well,
conversational podcast,
before we
Montrell.
get into that, like I've been playing Sonic Frontiers,
Okay.
God of War. I guess we can both talk about that on your side of God of War
Hmm.
too. But yeah, so Apex Legends, keep it short and sweet for me. Um, I am kind of done with the game. Uh, I'm not done with BRs. I'm just done with Apex Legends. I'm not having fun when I play the game at all. Like compare,
Yeah.
I know people are like, well, you play League of Legends, you know, how are you having fun with that? And it's like, I'm still having fun with League of Legends, even after all these years, frustrations and everything like that. Apex Legends is just something different about it, and I
Oh,
believe it's
yeah.
the culture around it,
Hmm.
the developers around it, the lack of content, the lack of or the more recycling of content. They just don't respect their player base. And I would people are blaming EA, but I just don't think it's I think this is just a respawn thing. And like I was praising Respawn a couple months ago, it's like a year ago, I think, for like their actions on like, Jedi Outcast and Apex Legends. But after seeing how they handled Titanfall and
Hmm.
Titanfall 2, I feel
Hmm.
like Apex Legends unfortunately is gonna fall into the same boat.
Yeah.
They get to a certain point where they think the game is just perfect and they just don't touch it anymore, or they give up way too easily or way too quickly
Yeah.
on it. Um, yeah, and it's just I don't know. It's a lot of frustrations. Like even on the Reddit is definitely dead. The Reddit is nothing but like
Oh yeah.
trolls now.
Really.
Uh, the YouTube, uh, like the communities and everything like that. Like they're popular streamers. They're announcing like, "Yo, I'm just done with the game. Like, there's nothing to do anymore. Like, either it's easy." One person, it's Timmy's. I think that's his name. He's the most popular Apex streamer besides Lulu, who left. He even said this where we said this jokingly, but he said it like on his stream. He was like, it's hard to play Apex Legends now because either I'm fighting like predators all the time, which I don't mind. He's like, I actually want to fight predators and master players all the time. But when I queue up, I'm getting nothing but silver players, or I'm getting nothing but Smurf accounts, or I'm getting like 30-year-olds who are who got 3 kids who just want to come home and play the game, and
Mm.
they're not as sweaty as me, obviously. And he's like, that's just not fun. Like, and I'm pretty sure it's not fun on their end as well. And he's like, there needs to be something done about this game.
Yeah.
Um, and I just feel like when you got like top level streamers, even though I know a couple of episodes ago we were talking about how streamers have too much influence, um, which they do, and that still says that. But when you have these are money maker people, like these
Mm.
people bring attention to your game, and they're
Mm.
saying like, hey, this is standard third. I think you need to look at your game. I think you need to get rid of your policy of not talking to the community. I already expressed my interest, my problems with developers being quiet, and the quote unquote harassment or the harassment they do get online. I'm not gonna lie, they get harassed, but
Hmm.
like because you talk to somebody, you let a few bad apples um, come at you, and we do this shit all the time on Twitter and everything. We'll point out the bad comments, but just leave the good comments alone. Don't even talk to those people. Like
Hmm.
developers do the same shit. So I don't know. And Apex is just in a weird spot right now. Um, they keep telling us to wait until the end. Season 16, season 15 just started
Oh
though.
my
Like
god.
we shouldn't have to wait till
Yeah,
the split
we have to
or
wait
season 16.
95 days for fucking something to change. Yep. Okay.
Yeah, exactly. So
You should have
I
had
don't know.
things in the works. Like this is, dude. We were talking about this pre-show, right? Is how some of these other games act, right? Like Fortnite
Hmm.
and COD, like Warzone. They fucking transform their game every once in a while, right? Like they like totally transform the way their game plays or feels or the content in their game. They do that every once in a while. When has Apex fucking ever done that? Beyond like a new map release, never, dude. Like they don't like don't and don't tell me like the fucking limited time events. Like, dude, they don't even listen to the community on those. There have been plenty of those that the community has wished would stick around in some way or another, you know? And they don't fucking
Hmm.
do that shit. They fucking take them away and they're gone, you know? It's like people love like Control, I know, is one that people love, and like they don't they like bring it back occasionally. It's like man, like dude, come on, man. So and then the core BR is just like it's just the same shit every season. And we got a new map, right? And I like the map. I actually really like this new map, but dude,
Mm-hmm.
I'm just so tired of the game. I don't care, you know? I don't care
Yeah,
about the new
and
map. It's not enough to keep me playing anymore, you know?
yep. And I mean the core game itself, like the gunplay of the game and the movement is like spot on, right? We all agree with that.
Mhm.
It's just everything surrounding that that we don't agree with. I mean, we have people I, and it it's not their fault or whatever. I kind of blame like the pandemic and stuff like that. So people wanted to they started seeing all these streamers make money and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Even new streamers arose from the pandemic, and they are very successful now because they started streaming during the pandemic and stuff like that.
Mhm.
um but the problem became where people wanted they saw what they had to do, which was get good at games. Get good at games, you get followers. So what people started doing is they started cheating, they started buying strike packs and all this stuff like that, and now it's just a fall off from that. Like a lot of those people did leave, but a lot of those people didn't leave. They didn't stop their ways as far as cheating and all that stuff like that. In
Mhm.
Apex, it's really bad compared to like, in my opinion, compared to like Call of Duty and Fortnite,
Fortnite. Yeah.
because the strike packs in particular, like the controller, you can have fucking scripts inside the strike pack for your controller on console. So you can do stuff like tap strafe and all this other crazy shit. I went like into a deep dive on fucking strike packs. Because I just kept getting beamed on console. Even on console, I'm getting beamed. And I'm
Yeah.
like, there's no way I'm this fucking bad at this game. There's just no fucking way.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's just uh there's just a nature behind cheating, a whole black, not even a black market, it's a third party market behind cheating. Like strike packs are, you can buy those at Target. You can buy Chronos packs on Amazon right now.
Yeah.
And it's like, uh, even if you do ban hackers on PC, how are you supposed to ban technology? You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
that's hard to detect. And I don't know. And it's not just an Apex thing. It's kind of a thing that's happening across games worldwide. I think a lot of people, there's a silent movement happening of like stop the sweaties, and I think a lot of people are tired of the sweaties. And unfortunately, Apex Legends, they had a golden opportunity as well, when the mass exodus of Call of Duty, Warzone, the first one, everybody came over to Apex, and they had a huge boom, and they did nothing with it after that. They just lost it, and
Mhm.
I just don't understand how you can lose that when you had this huge boom of players. You need to do stuff to keep your
I mean,
player
dude,
base and everything like that nature.
the game's like cratering right now, isn't it? In
Yeah,
terms of
yeah, it's
player
doing
count.
terrible in Steam charts. It's doing
Yeah.
terrible.
Yeah, and that's crazy to
So,
think of, like, because that was only like 3 seasons ago, right? Where this game was fucking popping off,
yep,
Like, it wasn't that long ago. That wasn't even a year ago. So they've really squandered. I think they've really squandered this game, and I think it's too late. I think it's over. To be completely honest with you, I don't think they can save it because, dude, when I sit here, I'm listening to you talk, right, and I'm thinking about playing Apex, and my brain immediately just goes to disgust. Like, I don't even want, like, the idea of even doing that is gross to me at this point. It just makes me feel a certain way, and I don't want to feel that way playing a game. And to your point about League early on and what you were saying, like, I think the difference in League for you is not only that you've played League longer, but the thing is League is a better game than Apex from a core. I know they're different genres and it's apples to oranges in terms of game comparison, but in terms of the quality within its genre,
yeah,
League is far and away better than Apex, in my opinion. The way they handle balance in their community, yeah, I'm sure they've done fucked up shit in the past, but dude, there's a reason the game is still so successful after 13 years.
yeah,
And I think part of that too is in League they give their players ways to get better at the game.
hmm,
um you have mechanisms where you can watch your replays. They give you fucking huge, insanely in-depth statistical breakdowns of how you did in a match, right? Apex gives you fucking nothing. You don't get you don't even get a fucking like you don't even get a
replay.
kill cam, bro, when you die. You don't get replays, you don't get a kill cam. There's no the statistics in the game are pathetic. Like, they tell you nothing about how you did. Like, the game this is what I'm talking about. They want this game to be a fucking esport, right? They wanted this game to be an esport. It's a fucking joke. You can't be an esport when you don't have basic shit like that. Dude, the idea that you don't have replays is fucking insane. How do you like that's fucking crazy to me that you don't have replays in a game that you want to be competitive, like for the competitive gamer. That's fucking nuts, okay? That because dude, think about that. The core of any sport or competitive thing like sports or esports, like video games or regular sports, what do people do to improve in those things? They fucking watch themselves playing whatever it is, and they critique themselves and figure out how to get better. What could you do better in a certain situation? Football revolves around the idea of watching film. Like, you watch your own film and you see what you did wrong within the last game you just played. They do that all the time.
Yeah.
Every sport does that. Like, that is a core thing. So the idea that they wanted to make this game a competitive, like an esports game, it's laughable. Like the idea that we're 15 seasons in and we don't have replays or kill cams, fucking kill cams when you die. That's crazy. That's crazy shit.
Yeah,
you know? It's like
it's weird because was it Apex that this happened to, where they said it was really super hard and then they accidentally turned it on. Was it Apex that did that, or was it another game
I
I'm
wouldn't
thinking
be
of?
surprised. I do remember you're right though. They did turn that on accidentally.
Yeah, and everybody was playing with everybody for a minute, and then they turned it back off. I want to say that was Apex. I know someone said it was super hard, and then they turned it on one patch or whatever, and then they patched it back up, and then like a season later, it came out that it can do crossplay or whatever. Another thing is like, yeah, not even dealing with stats like on the UI level and like just quality of life levels. Why don't we have you know combinations of fucking accounts? Because the thing is, like, why is there not cross progression? Because if you log on to your EA account right now, like on PC or Origin, you will see your PlayStation and your Xbox account. So there's just no, it doesn't make any sense to me. I don't know the technical difficulties of that part, unfortunately, but if you already have like a baseline to go off of, just improve upon that.
Well, they're already reading the network that your
Exactly.
account's on, so there's a connection there clearly.
Yeah.
I mean, yes, it's probably complicated to have cross progression, but plenty of games are able to do it, and I don't want to hear that $1 billion game can't figure it out.
Literally, like
me a
this is
break.
at EA's last calling. They wanted to continue the Apex franchise. That's what they call it, Apex Legends franchise, even though it's Titanfall. They wanted they wanted to continue the Apex Legends IP. And everything. And then what's so crazy about it is people are very interested in the world of Apex, and they're like, "Oh, we want a single player Apex game and everything like this." And it's like, bro, it's called Titanfall 2. Like, you have a golden opportunity to revitalize Titanfall. Like, you can make this a really big IP.
Now they moved on, Montrell.
I know, but even outside of that, like, they
name
can
is
make
dead, man.
Even outside of that, they can make like Apex movies and all this other shit like that because people want to see this shit. Like, look at what League did. Look at what Dota did. They have series on Netflix and everything like that. And I think another thing with like League and Dota, that is a really big thing, is their anti-cheat is like fucking almost phenomenal. When I get beat in League of Legends, there's rarely a time where I'm like, that dude's scripting or cheating. Rarely do I say that shit. Like, I will acknowledge that I just got shitted on, and I have to go back and watch the replay. I got shitted on. I need to see why I got shitted on. Or I need to learn how to play against this matchup as this champion, or what matchups work against this champion or hero. And I'm pretty sure it's the same in Dota, where people are like, I got shitted on. And I'm not going to cheating. I just got shitted on. Like, they weren't scripting. They were just better than me, And it's to the point in Apex where I'm like, almost every death, I'm like, bro, this dude gotta be cheating. I know he probably not cheating, probably just way better than me. But it's just like, bro, like, there are just certain but we've come across it so many times where we see new accounts, level 10 accounts, level 20 accounts.
It's every other game. it's not like it's an infrequent thing that's happening a couple times a night. It's every other game we play. Some nights it's every fucking game we play. We get squad wiped immediately, instantaneously by accounts that are level 25, you know? Like, what am I doing? You know? Like, am I this bad at this game? No, I'm not. You're not. Jet's definitely not. Like, the fuck? You know? It's just no, it's silly. Like this is my other problem. The lack of replays like pisses me off because we've talked about on our Discord recently. Like some of us have talked about like we're not. There are things we don't do well as a squad in Apex,
Hmm.
and we have no real mechanism to identify those things in an effective way because we don't have replays. We have no way to like go look at what are we actually doing wrong. Um, like what things are we missing? Why is one person like over in the middle of butt fuck nowhere while the other two are in the next loot zone already? It's
Exactly.
like
Yeah.
yeah, like what's going on? We can't do that. Like we can't, it's insane. And dude, this is coming from somebody that played PUBG, which was like one of the worst fucking games to play, like from a technical angle, as a BR. And that game had replays from the word fucking jump. It had kill cams from the word jump the second the game came out, and it had those from the beginning. And it layered things onto those replay systems over time where you could like do all sorts of shit within replays, in Apex, you don't even have it. You can't even watch replays. I don't get it. So I don't know. I don't like. We don't need to keep going on Apex. Like we've talked about this game plenty. I just think we're both at the point. It took you a little longer than me and the rest of the group, I think, but like I think we're just kind of done with this game for now, and we may
Yeah.
be done with this game for good. Like realistically, I don't. I've never felt this way about Apex before. I've had hiatuses where I'm done with the game, but I always intended to go back at some point. It might be a season. I might need a whole season off, but I intended to go back. This time, dude, I might be done. I really might be done. I'm like, we're searching for other games. We're sitting there talking about playing Fortnite again, and I legitimately am like excited by that idea. I'm like, damn, dude, I remember when we played Fortnite in the summer. We didn't stick with it very long, and I don't know why, to be honest, because we were honestly having a fucking blast. Like it was fun.
Yeah, we were.
Like
We
it
were
was
having a good
fun.
time.
It was a lot of fun, dude. So I'm down to play that game, and that may be the switch. For a while. So we'll see. Or yeah, we just keep playing League. I mean, League or Dota or whatever, dude. Um,
Yeah.
whatever strikes our fancy at any given night, or Overwatch. As much as I'm not enjoying Overwatch as much lately, but um, but
Yeah,
still,
that was
it's
just a really bad night. That was a really bad night for us.
no. I mean,
But
I
yeah.
just I think I'm trying to figure out where I fit within Overwatch, and I'm starting to
Hmm.
think healer's not my role. I don't know if I
Okay.
want to be a healer. Because I don't think a lot of people want to be a healer though. So when I queue up for all three roles, I end up being a healer all night, and it's like,
Well,
yeah, I
I
don't
think
know.
me and Jet are like perma healers because I like healing,
Okay,
so I don't mind it
so I may swap,
at
dude.
all.
I actually like tanking a lot in Overwatch. Which is weird because I hate tanking in MMOs and other games,
Hmm.
but in Overwatch, I don't know. I just kind of get it. Like, dude, you need to get up in the other team's fucking grill, bro. Like, that is your job, and it is. And if you're doing that right, and your team is like your healers are fucking on you, and you're using cover well within the middle of a firefight, like you can be really fucking effective as a tank.
Yeah,
So I
and they
kind of like
buffed
that.
your girl this season too. Season two's out, and they buffed your girl.
Oh,
So
they did? Junker Queen got
yeah,
a buff? What?
yeah, she got like
What?
2 or 3 buffs. Yeah, she got
Yo,
like
I
two or
gotta
three
I gotta
buffs.
check that out because dude, I don't think she needed buffs at all to be honest. But I'll fucking take them, bro. I fucking wreck people with her, man. Like when I'm playing her, it's like fucking it's funny to me. I'm like, I think I'm a Junker Queen main in Overwatch, like straight up.
No, I
So
like playing her. I like playing her and Orisa. Orisa's like I think
mm-hmm,
that's my tank main.
mm-hmm,
I love playing Orisa. She's really good.
yeah, yeah.
Um, but yeah, I like playing. I like playing healing. Like healing is my primary role, and then tanking is my secondary. I actually don't like DPS. I think it has the most characters, but
I'm in
I
the
don't
middle
like it.
on DPS. I think I'm in the middle on DPS. It depends on the character. There is a lot of characters I don't like. I don't think I'm gonna ever
Mhm.
want to play. But there's some that I really enjoy, like Sojourn. I'm really big on her.
Mm.
But I think my thing is like I like Anna as a healer, but man, I kind of wish she was just a DPS. It's like,
Yeah,
God damn
yeah.
it. I don't want to, like, there's times where I catch myself and I'm like in DPS mode, and I'm not healing the party well. And I'm like, fuck, man. I'm like, God damn it. I get in like a firefight with like a Widowmaker long distance or something. And it's like, I can't do that for very long though.
Yeah.
I have to be engaged with healing my teammates. So that's kind of my issue is like my heart wants to fight people more as Anna, but my brain is like, nah, bro, you got to shoot your teammates, not the enemy. So I don't know. It's like a push and pull, and then the rest of the healers, like I don't like Lucio is fine. I don't really enjoy him that
He's a
much.
good beginner healer. I think
Yeah,
he's really bad like late
he's
game.
just
Like
so
late.
he's so basic, and
Yeah.
I like Kiriko. I think she's good. Mercy, no, I don't want to play her. I fucking hate Moira, like on principle. I don't want to play that character. Bridget, actually like Bridget too.
I've been
She's
using her a
cool.
lot too. Yeah, she's actually
She's
really cool
cool.
to use.
So
Yeah.
I don't know. I think I just need to change it up more. I
I think they
default
need
to
more
Anna
healer
unless she doesn't
characters.
work for some
Yeah.
reason, and I think I need to stop doing that. Is I just keep playing her when I'm playing healer, and in some games it really doesn't work, and I try to switch, but I should probably think about more like what does the team need, for
Yeah.
healers. Um, so yeah.
Yeah, that's my Apex rant. Like this is the last time I'm talking about I'm putting this on paper or on like, record right now.
Yeah.
Last time I'm talking about Apex cuz there's nothing there for me
Until we
anymore.
go back.
I'll probably go back in about 2 I'm not going back season 16. I'm probably going back season 17 or 18, and if they haven't changed anything, I'm going to research it, and if they haven't changed anything, then I'm not going back.
Yeah.
Like that's it for me,
Yeah. Well,
So,
it makes me sad too because Olympus is in the rotation right now in public matches, and I'm
mm.
gonna skip another season where Olympus was available, and it's my favorite map in Apex. But dude, I don't know. The fundamental issues I have with the game at this point they're not changing. They've never changed. They've never done anything about them, and they always ignore them. And I'm tired of the developers kind of taking the piss out of their fan base. It's like it's really frustrating to watch them laugh at our frustration. Um, you know,
Yeah.
it really is like it happens. It's starting to happen a lot. When it shouldn't. So yeah. All right, let's put Apex aside. What else are you playing, Montrell?
And that's pretty much it. Besides that, I haven't played Sonic Frontiers too much lately, and
Mm-hmm.
we're gonna talk about God of War. I got a little bit further with
Mm-hmm.
it, about 10 hours further. So,
Okay. Um. So me, I've been playing Genshin still. Nothing really new to say there. And then Tactics Ogre Reborn. I should have actually taken off the list. I have not played that in probably about 2 weeks.
wow.
So like I said, I'm not gonna play it probably until I'm done with God of War, which I'm currently trying to get through. And then Lord of the Rings Online. I mentioned this earlier. Our friend group started playing it. A few of the guys, and I have a fondness for this MMO that stretches back a long time. And I was explaining it to you because we were trying to get you into it, but I was kind of explaining why what the game really is, and that I don't think you need to play it. It's not an MMO that's like super fun to play in the moment to moment gameplay, but it is a immersive, super immersive rendition of the Lord of the Rings world. Like that is what the hook for this MMO is for me. Is that just existing in this game world is like really fucking awesome. From like the moment to moment. The combat is like whatever. It's really not good, not really that good. But it's just dude, like the what I envisioned when I read the Lord of the Rings or the Hobbit, right, is like this game ep- epitomizes that vision. It's like they took what's in my head and put it into a video game. And it's like so fucking awesome. So, if you're like, it's kind of weird. It's not a game I'd recommend at this point to anybody. At this point in time, if you haven't played it before, because it's literally the max level cap is like 140, and there's like fucking I don't know 10 expansions at this point. Who knows how bloated this fucking game is? But if you are looking for something immersive though, and you're a fan of Lord of the Rings and you like MMOs, I mean, this game might be worth checking out. It is free to play, and you know, you might not get to anywhere. You might not even get to fucking level 50. You know, but you know, I think just the brief time you do experience the game will be very immersive. So yeah. I don't know much. I know like you were like looking at videos and stuff, and you weren't like super into it. But dude, I think were you looking at late game stuff? Because like I think the thing is with this is like realistically, we're not gonna get the level cap. Like we're not. I don't think we're gonna last that long. And I think we're all being pretty upfront about that. We're just gonna play it and see how far we go. You know. So that's kind of where I'm at with it. But
Yeah, I'm still on the fence about it. I mean, not even the late game stuff. I just don't like the. I don't know. The combat just looks stale, and I just want some kind of when I'm playing
it
the game.
does.
Not like I
It
don't
is.
need like Final Fantasy flashy stuff like that. I just want something, you know, like
Yeah.
like simple shit, like you said. And I know they were joking on you, but it's true. Like when you crit, I want to see like some kind of special move or maybe a big number or some kind of flash when I crit or something. Like just give me something. And it
Or like
wasn't. And I was
sound effects. You know.
yeah, sound effects or
Yeah.
something. And like that shit matters in the MMO because ultimately, I mean, being realistic, even with Final Fantasy, you're doing the same moves over and over again.
Yep.
So it's like you will need some kind of flashiness, some kind of stuff like that. And I don't know, when I was just watching it from early game, I watched like maybe a 3 hour stream of it or like let's play of it.
Hmm.
And I was just like, man, and I watched
It's a very quiet game.
yeah, it's a very quiet game. And I
Yeah.
understand that if you want to get immersed in the world, and I was very impressed with the world, even with the graphics that they have. Today it was just I was like, wow, they really captured like Lord of the Rings.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
I just wish there was something more current because I really love like the Amazon series, and I just really want to get back into Lord of the Rings and everything like that. And
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm actually thinking about going back and like playing some games, some Lord of the Ring franchise games.
Mm,
So
okay.
uh,
Okay.
yeah,
Well, if you ever have access to it, I really do recommend Lord of the Rings: The Third Age. Uh,
okay,
it's a good game. I mean, it's like a turn-based, um, you know, RPG, kind of like the old Final Fantasy games, or like Dragon Quest style, where you know, you take your turn and then the enemy takes their turn, and it's you know, kind of like that menu-based combat, but it's actually really cool. So there's some really cool moments in there. Okay, so yeah, outside of that, God of War. So I have been playing this some more. Montrell, you said you got 10 more hours into it, so you're getting deeper now. You're
yeah.
kind of in it at this point. So what do you think? Where are you at with it?
So I'm at the part. Spoiler alerts for people who haven't played it. I'm at the part where Atreus uh is now with Odin, and now we're back with Kratos. He just got the spear, um, and now we're
Damn,
about
dude,
to.
you like almost caught up to me. Holy shit.
Oh, really?
God damn, you
Yeah,
fucking black. Well, you're probably not doing much side stuff, I guess, huh?
I did do some side stuff. I did do some side stuff.
Okay, you played more than
Um,
10 hours then.
okay, I did. I just know I played the game.
I
Actually,
mean,
Deanna
I'm
was
at
watching
like
me.
28 hours, so
Mine says like 17, so I
what?
don't know. Yeah,
What the
I'm
fuck?
blasting through it, bro.
Yeah, you are blasting through. I mean, I'm slow. I mean, I'm very methodical when I play this game. Like I
Okay.
fucking go into every nook and cranny. Like I don't miss chests. I don't miss Odin fucking ravens or any of that shit. I get all the collectibles I can when I'm in zones. So
Yeah,
yeah.
I try to do that. I try to get the chest on the way. Um, the ravens. I don't go out my way to look for them, but I do go out my way to look for the chest. Not the ravens though.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I was just playing with Deanna, and one thing that she said that I didn't notice, maybe because I'm like used to the game. Well, we did comment on it. Um, but she is like a lot of games where you're just playing, going from objective to objective, next cutscene to cutscene. There's a little dialogue to keep you interested
Hmm.
as a watcher of the game.
Yeah.
And she's like, I love how this game, they're just constantly talking. She's like, every time you're moving through a hallway, a corridor, a nook or cranny or something like that, when you're rowing your boat, they're constantly talking and filling me in on the lore of the world. And I'm
Yeah.
just, she's like, she's interested in the world and
Yeah.
everything.
Yeah.
Um, so I think that's pretty cool. It's a good streaming game from that aspect. I think like people would
Hmm.
enjoy like streams, people playing this game, doing playthroughs and everything. But anyway, like I think the story, the combat has picked up for me. I just got used to it, and I was like, okay, well, this is the combat. But there are more in depth things you can do when you upgrade your moves and everything of that nature. Turning down the combat for me, the difficulty definitely helped a lot. Now I'm just blowing through shit because
Yeah.
I'm playing on normal mode now, which
Oh,
is
that
like
might be part of my problem actually. I'm still playing on hard, so
okay,
I'm having to
okay.
redo a lot of encounters. There was a boss I was stuck at for like 2 days.
Okay.
That I
Yeah,
finally
I
beat
turned it down to
yesterday.
like normal. Yeah, so that's the major difference because I was gonna play it on not very hard, but like hard, and I was like, nah, I'm just gonna play it at normal. So I played on normal. I'm still having some difficulty, but not as much. Actually, the one person I died a lot to was uh, I think his name's Brayer the Feared or something like that. The electric guy, one of the when you turn to
Oh,
put
the
the sword
gravestone
in the
things?
yeah.
Damn, you beat that
And
guy?
yeah, I beat that guy. Yeah.
God damn, dude. I
Yeah.
like he has like a purple health bar to me. So
Yeah, he
I
has a purple health bar to me as well.
okay, that means you're under
Yeah.
leveled for it. So that was
Okay.
probably why you were having issues. I like on hard, dude, I tried him and he literally killed me in like 2 hits. I'm like, nope, not doing this right now. So I'm gonna go back to that.
Okay. Yeah, I actually beat him.
Mhm.
He would two shot me and then sometime one shot me.
Yeah.
Especially if he stunned you. But once I figured out his pattern and everything like that,
Mhm.
I just kept wailing on him and stuff like that. But yeah, those fights are really hard. Um I do have to learn to like turn around, but I don't, and I'm like, this is fucking normal. I can beat these monsters, and I actually beat them. But sometimes I do need to just turn and fuck around and like go the direction, but I don't.
Yeah.
I'll probably be a lot farther if I did that.
Mhm.
But the story, I'm actually really like the story is always hitting. But my main thing was the combat, and y'all right, the combat, especially when we get the spear.
Yeah.
I don't know, it just everything just kind of like clicks for me, and like the combat just became a little bit more faster. And maybe once I think you can do replay throughs with like new game plus, right? So you
No,
can have your
not
equipment.
yet. It's not out
Not
yet.
oh, it's not out yet.
It
Okay,
will be. It
okay,
will be. They didn't have it at launch though. They did the
oh,
same thing with 2018 though.
okay. So I think when New Game Plus comes out, I'm gonna play the harder difficulties with all my equipment, and I think I'll have more fun playing the harder difficulties like that.
Mhm.
Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, I now I changed my tune. I am going to try to platinum the game, but like I said, I need New Game Plus to come out because I don't want to do without weapons and all my upgrades again.
Mhm.
Um,
Yeah.
so yeah, but the story is really good. I like what they're doing with Atreus. I like that we got to see Odin's point of view and stuff. I
Yeah.
still don't trust him, but I see where he's coming from on a lot of the points, and it kind of
Yes.
humanizes him and
Yeah.
Thor. You know?
Yeah. So it's really interesting what they did. I want to go really deep on this game when we're both done with it.
Hmm.
Because I think what they did with the story in this game is so far I like pretty much all the story beats for the most part. Now that notwithstanding from my criticism that I think there are sections of this game they could easily have taken out. There's a lot of bloat that I don't think needs to be
Yeah.
there. But the primary narrative, those narrative moments that you're talking about, they are hitting really, really well. There's a section coming up for you that you probably are right about to get to. That I thought was really fucking cool and had a really nice end point. And um, I just I'm really enjoying these characters. And I called out Atreus, Kratos, and Freya previously, but you're right. I didn't want to say anything about Odin and them because you hadn't gotten to that point in the game yet. But seeing their way of life and their perspective, and I really like when you get to the lodge where Odin
It's
lives,
just a fucking
and it's
lodge.
just a fucking wooden lodge, and Atreus is like, this is it. And Heimdall's like fucking making fun of him, like, what did you think? He lived in a fucking palace, like a like no, dude, he built this shit with his own hands, and like, I like that they did that because it does subvert expectations because of the way Mimir and Freya talk about Odin like he's some fucking god king that rules over the peasants. He's not really presented that way when you go there,
Yeah.
and people do like worship him, but not in a way like he's made himself worthy of being worshipped with what
Yeah.
he's done for them. Um,
Yeah. Because like when you're Atreus and you're climbing up the wall, you meet that village.
yeah,
I think they put that there for a reason.
yeah,
And Atreus was like even kind of surprised, like, yeah, we're from Midgard, All Father saved us and put us over here and stuff
yeah,
like that.
yeah,
And they're like, you're going to meet the All Father? Like, yo, like he saved me and my family, bro. Like,
yeah,
and
yeah.
I was just like, Odin did that? The guy that fucking screwed over the dwarves and did this and that to the fucking
Fuck,
giants
fuck
and
Freya over, yeah, and like,
yeah,
yeah,
fuck
right,
Freya over and all this
yeah.
shit. And it's like, and then you get there and you're talking to other people, uh, you know, who was he about? And like you get the sense that he has done some things. Like Handel is still like, he respects Odin. He's like, I'm really trying to look out for you, but I also hate you at the same time. It's the weirdest dynamic I've ever seen.
Well,
Uh
Heimdall's he's like a snarky asshole, right? Like he
yeah.
actually kind of worships Odin. Like he fucking is like a hyper loyal to Odin, but he's also a snarky piece of shit, like a know it all too. And I think he annoys the shit out of Odin. And Odin's like, dude, like the fuck, like what the fuck are you doing? Like, why the fuck are you beating the shit out of my guests? Like, get out of here, you fucking idiot! Like, and he like
Well,
leaves
I know
begrudgingly.
his thought patterns. I know what he's gonna his intention. He's like, I don't give a
And he's
fuck.
like,
I do
And
too.
then Odin. I love when Odin turns around to Atreus and he's like, "Were you planning on killing me right now? Like right this second? No, okay, all right, Heimdall, please go away. Thank you for your concern. I did appreciate that. I will say his relationship with Thor, though, Odin's relationship with Thor is sad as shit, in my opinion.
Yeah.
The way he fucking treats Thor is fucked up, dude. And I wouldn't think you would feel that way based on what we've seen of Thor and heard of Thor, and like Thor's a fucking asshole and everything. But dude, it's like Odin clearly fucking hates Thor. Like, does not like that son clearly.
Yeah.
Because yeah, he says some really fucked up shit. Because like Thor, like at the point in the story we meet him is like actually sober. He doesn't drink anymore, which is a new thing for him. And Odin's like poking that wound, like telling him like, I liked you more when you were drunk. It's like God damn, dude, that's fucking brutal. So
Yeah, you can tell Thor has been through a lot.
yeah,
A lot. And I think to me, I think he regrets what he did to the Giants, but he's trying to be like, I revel in it. I revel in killing the Giants and all that.
yeah,
Like, I don't think he actually reveled in that shit. I think he was either drunk or
tricked into
Odin
doing
tricked
it.
him.
Yeah.
Yeah. And he regrets a lot of the shit that happened. You can just tell. And yeah, I actually feel bad for him, like in certain instances. So yeah.
Yeah, and I kind of wanted to know what did you think of the Freya section before that, where you go to Vanaheim with her and Kratos?
Uh Felt like it was filler.
Really? Okay, because dude, for me, that's one of my favorite sections of the game so far. To be
Really?
honest, because I think like the repairing of that relationship over the course of that whole quest chain in that realm, I think was
Oh, you talking about story wise?
yeah,
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 it was
yeah,
really
yeah,
cool.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
The story section of Vanaheim where you go fight, Needhog and
Yeah, okay, yeah, I think
break.
that was much needed. I
Yeah,
think him expressing because yeah, it was I'm glad he finally spoke up for himself, Kratos. Like, bro, I lost everybody too, and that's why Olympus is no more. Because I
yeah,
literally killed my daughter and
yep.
wife.
I love how
And
much
she
they're
was
getting
like,
in. I love how much they're getting into his past. Yeah.
yeah. And she was like, oh. It's like, yeah. Like, it was almost like, I even say, yeah, shut the fuck up. Like, he literally killed everybody
No, when he
because
was talking about his daughter, dude, killing Calliope and his wife
yeah.
at the beginning of the first game or before the first game, and he was explaining that to her, and she's like doesn't even know what to say. She's just like speechless. Like, oh,
Yeah.
okay, well,
Yeah. Cause she said at one point, she's like, what do you know about losing, you know, your kid or whatever. And he
yeah,
was
and
just
it's like,
like, I know.
It's like,
Like, I
bitch, I
know.
killed my own family with my own 2 hands with these blades that I have right here, you know? Like, I don't know. I don't know if you should be fucking talking this much shit to me, you know? It's like,
Yeah, exactly.
so, yeah, no, I agree. I would think it was definitely needed. I think they needed that alone time, like, away from Atreus. And Mimir, actually, because Mimir wasn't there for that whole section either. And I
Mhm.
think that was really key. I think that was a really smart move because Mimir is like kind of annoying when it's him, Kratos, and Freya, because Freya fucking
Yeah.
hates his ass and she doesn't want to hear him talk, and he just keeps talking, you know?
Yeah.
So I appreciated that they put Freya and Kratos together, just the two of them, so they could she could kind of get to know him a little bit better, and he could explain his background a little bit more to her and why he made the choice he made. Is like she understands his mentality with why he killed Balder, you know?
Yeah.
Is that, and he even says it. He's like, I don't regret the choice I made, but I am sorry that I took that away from you. The
Yeah.
choice, the ability for you to make that choice, you know?
Exactly.
And
Yeah.
I think it was a really that was a really like powerful moment in the game for me. I think that's the thing they do right with this game is there's just these story beats that are really strong, you know? Like they have these really strong story moments where two characters have a moment together that's really authentic and like really powerful. And they happen a lot, actually, but I think this is my issue with the game. It's just it's so frustrating that it's like it's the game has so much other shit going on that I don't really care that much about, and it like kind of makes you do a lot of it. You know, it's like
Yeah.
there's a lot of traveling that I feel like shouldn't be in the game. You know, where the game makes you run back to a fucking mystical gateway for no reason. And it's like, bro, if the fast travel system in this game was like more modern, I would just click the button and I'd be in the next area. You know, it's like it's just a
Yeah.
lot of
Yeah.
like unnecessary time wasting, you know, to me that I find really frustrating. They got away with it in the first game because we were on PlayStation 4. We're on PlayStation 5 now, and the fast travel system in this game is no longer acceptable in my opinion. Like the whole going into the mystical gateway and then you have this little conversation and then the fucking doorway opens, like that is there to hide loading on PlayStation 4, and it shouldn't be there on PlayStation 5, you know?
Yeah.
Because the game can load instantly, and it's like I've seen it when I start the game from the main menu, it loads up in less than 5 seconds. Like the game is capable of loading that fast. It's just they have this there because it's on PS4. It's needed for the PS4. And it's like
Yep.
I find it annoying. I've started to find it annoying, and I'm in a section of the game right now where I'm doing side quests primarily. I'm trying to clean up some side quests because I think I'm heading towards the end of the game. And I want to clean a lot of that stuff up. And dude, trying to traverse the realms, you know, and like get the ravens I missed and the chests I missed, and like doing the side quests I missed, the ones that are really far from Mystical Gateway, it is a fucking slog, dude, because you have to go all the way into the area as far as you need to go to get everything you need, and then you have to walk all the way back. There's no fast way back. It's just you just have to walk all the way back. It's like a waste of 10 or 15 minutes, you know?
Mhm.
So that's where I'm frustrated with this game. It's like they still have captured the narrative the way they did with the first game, but there's just so much more in this game than there was in 2018 that I think it's kind of taking away from the overall experience for me. So,
No,
um,
I agree with that.
yeah,
Um, it's like a double edged sword because like you get a lot of story beats and moments in those moments that you are walking back because they are talking, like a
yeah,
lot of the characters are talking
yep,
during those backtracking moments, and I appreciate those moments, but at the same time it's like I do just want to get it over with. But so it's like I said, it's like a double edged sword.
yeah,
I don't know, is but for the a lot of the story, like I do like how it's very human, because like we forget stuff all the time,
hmm,
um, or emotions and certain things and everything like that.
yeah,
And I feel like with Freya, she understood. She's like, okay, I forgive you, bro, but we need to go to war though. And he's like, I don't want to go to war. And she's
yeah,
like, why not? Like, why don't you want to go to war? I don't understand. And it's like, bro, his whole family died because he waged war on the gods, and like he
hmm,
got nothing from it. Nothing. he has nothing to remember, like
He ended an
besides like
entire society. Like
yeah, exactly.
he's gone down that path already, Freya. Like and yeah, no, you're right. She's like really bloodthirsty, dude. And like she's
Yeah.
trying so hard to convince him, like telling him he's the prophesized champion of the giants or whatever. Like, he's the one that's gonna lead the fucking armies into Odin's, into Asgard, kill Odin or whatever. And it's like he's so resistant to that. And yeah, I don't know. I think I look forward to the next section that you're about to do.
Okay.
Because yeah, it kind of addresses some of those things before I think what is I'm assuming is probably going to be the final third quarter to a third of the game. I'm guessing. I just like
Okay.
I'm like not sure how much more there is to go with this game. I feel like I'm close, but I don't know. It's like it's hard to know because there's so many things that are unresolved,
Hmm.
and I'm like, can they really wrap this up in 5 to 10 hours? I don't know, so
Yeah.
we'll see.
So yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's just really cool. And I understand Freya's. You know, it's like it's almost like you ever have a cousin or a friend that's like really younger than you,
Hmm.
and what they're doing. Because I have younger brothers and sisters and stuff like that, and cousins, and even friends. And I'm like, oh, this is a perfect example. Like when Snakes is talking about stuff, right? And he's young.
Yeah.
And we're like, bro, don't do this because we already been down this path before. We know what's coming.
Hmm.
So how about you do this? And he's like, nah, I got it, bro. I got it. And it's like, yeah, you got it, but you don't got it. Uh, that's how I feel like with Freya. And like you said, her bloodthirstiness, like she's doing everything to convince Kratos to do this war.
Hmm.
He's like, it's not gonna bring you Baldur back, bro. Like, I understand that Odin did this and all this stuff to your people. It's not you what you think is gonna happen, it's not gonna happen. And then for her to use like it was one part where he actually I think he told her to shut up or something like that. Or he was like, enough. He doesn't say shut up. Where she was like, do you think your wife got with you because she knew that you were the champion? And I was like, oh, Mimir actually said, like, yo, that's enough. Like, stop it. And I'm
Yeah.
like, how
Yeah.
low do you have to be?
Yeah.
Like, just think about me and you or whatever. And like, if our spouses die or whatever the case may be, knock on wood,
Yeah.
that never happens.
Yeah.
Like, I would be devastated. And then someone's like, yo, you gotta lead the revolution, Montrell or Justin. And you're like,
Yeah.
don't you think, they would have wanted that? And it's like, how dare you do that?
Yeah.
Don't fucking do that to
Invoke
me.
them to fucking
Yeah.
make me commit violence on others. Like,
Yeah.
no, I mean,
Like,
I think she apologizes for that later in that
yeah.
in that section though. So that's where it's like it is a humanizing. uh there's like humanizing moments like that though, where she does something kind of fucked up, and she's like not so far gone in her bloodthirstiness that she doesn't realize that what she said was kind of shitty. So it is good. I do like how resistant Kratos is to it though, because he knows the repercussions of going after somebody like Odin.
Yeah.
Like he killed Zeus, man. Like it fucking ended everything in Greece. So he already knows, you know. So he's like Frey, he hasn't really said this, but the way he's acting, he's just like it's like you don't know the consequences of killing Odin. Somebody like Odin, is the entire fabric of the reality here might fucking unravel. It's like you don't know what's gonna happen. And fuck, Odin doesn't know. Like he literally talks about
Exactly.
that. Like what? Like that's one of his main motivations in the game so far that they've established is like he's like literally doesn't know what the like if he dies, what the fuck happens? Like he doesn't know. You know, and so I like the way they're exploring. I really enjoy the way they're exploring these things, these like undertones, these themes within these characters. That's
Yeah.
why I just yeah.
It just turns these guys into humans.
Yeah.
Like, because he's like one part that Odin said that he was like, they pray to us,
Yeah.
but who the fuck do we pray to? Who do we even look forward to? Who do we go to?
Yeah.
Like, yeah, I'm the All Father, but am I really the All Father? Like, and then for like Kratos, um, I think with Freya and Mimir, actually, they realize like he's not just a stone brick wall robot killing machine. Like he has emotions. And, like,
Yeah.
and they just like they're saying fucked up shit to him. He's like getting actually hurt. Like he's getting triggered. Like, yo, okay, chill out. And they're like, oh wow, okay.
Well, I
And
love
it's
it when
like,
Kratos shuts a conversation down. He's like, speak no more of this. You know, it's just he just ends it, man. Like he's just got a way about him, like where people are like, all right, I'm not pushing that button anymore. Like, you know,
yeah,
it's like Frey. Like the thing is, Freya's funny because she talks all confident early on in that Vanaheim section of like, man, I could still kill you. I could still kill you, and it's like, bitch, go ahead and try. You have tried so many times. All right, this motherfucker will fucking end you if he wanted to. You would probably be dead if Kratos wanted you to be dead, but he doesn't. So that's why you're alive. Like, how many times did they fight early in the game? And like, it only happened 2 or 3 times. But point being,
yeah.
between games, we don't know how many times they fought, and he never wanted to kill her. He never actually fought back. He just defended himself. And they literally talk about that, like, why didn't you fight back? And it's like, I didn't want to kill you. Like, there's nobody wins if I kill you. You know, it's like there's no benefit for me killing you. So like that was his perspective the whole time. So it's like,
Not to mention, he actually like he's like, I actually consider you a friend. Like, what the
yeah,
fuck?
yeah, right, right, right. I mean, she helped them a lot in the first game, dude. If you remember.
Yeah.
So
I mean, she healed fucking Kratos. She healed Atreus. So it's like,
yep, and brought
he,
Mimir back to life.
oh yeah, I forgot about that part.
Ahead.
Damn.
I do miss old Kratos a little bit though. We're talking about his growth because he actually calls people by name now, or he calls them like brother or whatever. And
Mm.
I miss I miss from the first game where he would call Atreus boy, or like Mimir, he would call him head. I do miss that, man, but he's so polite now. It's like fucking funny, man. So yeah. I don't know. I mean, I'm trying to get through this game. I really want to beat it soon, but I mean, it is what it is. It's going to take as long as it's going to take. So
Yeah.
we will we'll have a more in-depth talk, I think, once we finish it. Whether that's a separate episode or just kind of the end of an episode, I don't know. We'll figure that out. But yeah. Okay, Montrell, let's move on. I think that's all we have to talk about for games we're playing. There's not a lot of news this week, so we'll kind of get through this quick. But this is a follow up to last week, so this just came out today or yesterday. Microsoft announced that they have reached a 10-year commitment to bring Call of Duty to Nintendo following the merger with Activision Blizzard King. So this is a 10-year commitment. It is not like a set in stone deal per se, because I don't think it's legal for Microsoft to actually write something on behalf of Activision Blizzard King right now, because they don't actually own them yet. So they can make this kind of commitment written. So they did that with Nintendo, and they attempted to do it with Valve, but Valve declined the deal, not because there's like Sony. They did it because they actually kind of released their own statement, saying that they trust Microsoft to do what they said here, that Phil Spencer and the Xbox team, as far as they've been concerned working with them, have always kept their word with things like this, and they don't feel the need to sign any kind of deal with them. They also did say, kind of waving the big Gabe and Dick around, that they feel that Microsoft is heavily incentivized to continue to offer Call of Duty on Steam, which they are correct about. So they don't feel the need to put ink to paper on this. So given that, though, that tacitly gives Microsoft support from Nintendo and Valve on this deal, which I think is pretty big news overall, given how hard Sony's been fighting this. And I don't know if it's going to have any sway with regulators here in the US, but it may. But I don't know much. What did you think of this? Does this surprise you? I mean, because think about it. Call of Duty hasn't been on Nintendo for a long time, nearly 10 years. So that is a big deal in and of itself.
It's also like, I didn't think about it till now. I think this is also verifying that Nintendo has something in the works where it can start running these kind of games.
Yeah.
Because I mean, Call of Duty hasn't touched a Switch and like
It's
it
never been
hasn't
on.
touched a
It's never
Switch.
been on Switch. It was on Wii
Yeah.
U for the early part of Wii U's lifespan.
Yeah. So this actually gives me hope that they're probably coming out with another console or something of that nature because we see the games and everything. But getting back to like Microsoft, I believe a lot of people are like, "Oh, well, Microsoft goes against their word," and I'm trying to think of a time when they made a commitment to something and they went against it.
Not a
You can
commitment,
probably
but with Bethesda, they said the games wouldn't be exclusive, and then immediately made them
okay,
exclusive
immediately,
after
yeah,
the deal went through. That
yeah,
yeah, that's the big
yeah.
one.
So, um, I definitely understand that, and I understand that sentiment. That that's a big deal. But I don't think they can pull that with Call of Duty. Like, I just don't. I don't see them doing that. That would be a huge revenue stream, even though PC sales are significantly lower than the console sales. That's still a huge portion of that gone if they do that on the Steam side because everyone hates the Windows client and everything like that.
Yeah, yeah.
Because I remember we were trying to play, Halo and everything like that, and it was just terrible. Not for me, but for one of our friends. So I mean, Steam is still there, and I think like Steam, I think Sony should just have, you know, confidence in there. But I also with Sony on this one as well. I'm still on the fence with it because I don't want them to just buy this company, and I don't want this to become a precedent where they can't just a precedent rather, where
Yeah.
they can't make first party games. We're just gonna buy the fucking company. Like
Hmm.
fuck first party titles. Fuck competition. We just buy out the competition, and
Yeah.
we don't need that. And they're taking that. They're taking a very. This is where Xbox is Microsoft. They're doing the very Microsoft shit. Like, oh, that's new technology. Buy it. We don't need to develop technology of our own. Just fucking
Hmm.
buy it.
Yeah.
Um.
Well,
So
yeah.
yeah, continue. I'm sorry.
Yeah, a bunch of Microsoft executives actually started tweeting about this and talking about this publicly yesterday as well.
Hmm.
Like trying to push this deal. So this is really important for Microsoft that like the company as a whole wants this. And it's very interesting to watch. Because honestly, there is a dark side to this thing where to this whole situation where if it doesn't go through, Activision suddenly is going to be very upset with Sony for one, um, and two, their company was trying to sell themselves and suddenly couldn't get purchased. So that means they will probably be on the market again. And who else can afford $68 billion? The only company I can think of is fucking Tencent, and
Oh God,
that is
no,
a
we don't want
dark,
that.
dark,
Yeah.
dark future that I do not want to see. So if someone's buying Activision, I would rather it be Microsoft if it's going to be anybody. So,
Yeah.
um,
Speaking of Tencent, I think a lot of people. This is all out. But this is why I wish the podcast was like fucking popular. A lot of people now are starting to like realize how bad Tencent is. They're like,
mhm.
especially with that AI
Yeah.
that's been coming out, making the anime AI pictures and stuff like that. That's ran by
Mhm.
Tencent, I believe.
Mhm.
And a lot of people are like, they're like, yo, this is taking your data, taking your pictures, and doing God knows what with it.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's making this cool anime AI thing, but be careful. But a lot of people in the comments of that were talking about Tencent, and a lot of people don't even know who Tencent is, and they're like, "Yo, these guys own League of Legends. These guys own parts of like Destiny, Sony, or
Yeah.
not Sony, parts of like Bungie and
Epic,
all this Epic,
Riot, they own Riot
right?
outright.
Yeah, like so it's like these guys are a heavy contender in video games, but they're like behind the scenes. And a lot of people also don't know that Saudi Arabia is getting in there. They're soaking up all these Japanese studios. Like they're
Mhm.
heavily investing in video games. Uh, so it's not like I'm not trying to make a geopolitical thing, but I am wondering what that does for the future of games. Are they going to impose some of their rules on these games, or they're just going to like, are they just investing in them? It could just be an innocent investment, like not innocent, but like a business investment. Like these are
I mean,
lucrative things. So
we may not see the ramifications of that stuff in our lifetime either. This could be a long, long, long play,
mm,
you know.
yeah,
But For now, it could. I think this is the other thing that scares me about it, though, with those country with the Chinese investments, especially Tencent, and then the Saudi Arabia stuff, is the idea that they don't have to do anything with it at any time. It could just be a revenue stream, but they could wake up one morning at any time and change their fucking minds, and be like, you know what, we're gonna start censoring shit. We don't like the way these fucking U.S. companies are portraying us or portraying things. We want to start spreading our government's propaganda through video games. It's like that could happen at any moment. It's not a thing that's going to happen at any specific time. It's not something we can predict. It's just the idea that it could happen at any time. It's like that's fucking scary as fuck. So,
Yeah.
um, and I mean, we've seen it passively where the companies themselves, they're not even owned by Tencent, right? But like Activision, well, actually, that's not true. I believe Tencent does have a stake in Activision. But like, remember when the Hong Kong stuff was going on and Blizzard like bent over backwards to fucking ban that pro Hearthstone player
Yeah.
for taking a stand about that. Like,
Yep.
it's shit like that. Or in Call of Duty, there was a Call of Duty game a couple years ago where Tiananmen Square was in the like footage of Tiananmen Square was in one of the trailers, and they fucking took it out. You know,
Hmm.
and like reposted the trailers without it. So that influence is happening whether it's active or not.
Well, it's
Um,
funny because I don't know if I don't get offended by any of this, y'all, but I think China has some kind of stigma against showing skulls in like media.
mm,
So, when League of Legends made Wild Rift, I didn't know who this character's portrait was for the life of me, and it was Thresh. And Thresh has like a fucking shadowy. He's almost like
mm,
Ghost Rider, right? He has
yeah,
like a fire skull
yeah,
head type deal.
yeah.
But they made him look like fucking like a Japanese like anime type, Sephiroth looking character, but with like, Seth with Thresh's clothes and everything like that. And I'm like, who the fuck is this? And it was Thresh. And I remember reading the comments and people were like, yeah, this is Thresh now. He didn't change in the original League of Legends game. He still looks the same in the original League of Legends game.
Yeah.
But in Wild Rift, since that's a newer game, they kind of did his design, and a lot of people were like, "That's not the Thresh I know," and people were saying that's because China has the stigma of
Mm-hmm.
fucking skulls and stuff like that, and which is cool. I mean we have certain stigmas over here that we don't believe in or anything of that nature that shouldn't be shown. So it's like I understand that, but it's like that's the influence that we're talking about. It's like little shit like that, like that can
Mm-hmm.
change a whole character. Imagine if they made Ghost Rider over there, right? And they're like, yeah, we can't have Ghost Rider over the skull thing. It's crazy. So you gotta redesign him. And he has like a fucking human head where the fire's at. You're like, bro,
Yeah.
that's not
Yeah.
Ghost Rider. What the fuck? So I don't know. It's just one of those things that we're talking about. And like it was Saudi Arabia, right? I'm just joking. What if they get one of these companies that make the hentai games, right? And they're like, "Nah, they're coming up. Remember, bro, what are you talking about? You can't show these big anime boobs.
Yeah.
People will be pissed. Like, why are y'all doing it anymore? Like,
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
So it's just one of those things where it's like the culture can bleed through. Because we do it here in America all the time, for certain
Oh
games.
yeah. No, we
Like
we
when Mass Effect 3 came out, people were like fucking Fox News was like, "Oh my god, fucking men are kissing on video games now. It's turning our children gay." And we're like,
yeah.
"What, bro? Like,
It's turning our children.
bro, what are you talking about?" Like,
Wild
so,
times, man. Yeah, no, I mean, I think the other thing we do it here though. We censor. The public is the one that censors, because
mm,
we get, we outrage happens when games come out, right? Mass Effect 3 is a good example. Remember the outrage with the endings with that game? It kind of forced
yep,
BioWare to come out with that DLC that had more fleshed out endings for all three different paths.
yeah,
And then we see this all the time with more inclusive, trying to be more inclusive, where companies kind of bend over backwards to show how inclusive and diverse they are in their games or
yep,
whatever.
mm,
So it happens here in a different way. It's not the government doing it; it's the public probably generating that kind of same movement, but it's scarier when it's a governmental entity
Yeah.
in a country, right? Because they actually have the authority to execute that kind of censorship.
Yeah,
Um,
exactly.
so we'll see what comes of it. I mean, the thing is, Microsoft is met with, I think, has already met with the FTC today privately. We don't know what's come of that, but I think this was their first meeting with them to kind of discuss this deal. So we will see. We'll see what comes of it. It's starting to feel like, though, I think Microsoft has kind of put Sony back on the back foot. I felt like last week with the Europe stuff that they were kind of I don't want to say winning, like boil it down like that, but they were kind of ahead, right? Like they had Microsoft on the back foot. Now it feels like getting Nintendo and Valve support, I think, is very big to make this deal a little bit more palatable overall, right? If those companies aren't worried about this acquisition, they're two of the biggest game distributors on the fucking planet, right? Like literally, Valve might even be bigger than Microsoft is in terms of game distribution.
Yeah.
If they're not worried about it, then the argument becomes like, Sony, why are you so worried about it? Um, so I don't know.
Yeah, no, I
Kind of
agree.
interesting.
I think yeah, that's a fair assessment. I think Nintendo, or not Nintendo, but it's either one or two things Sony is trying to prevent. They're like, this is pending doom, y'all. We should not do this. This is like letting the parasite in,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
this is going to screw all of us over. Or they are just really trying to secure their top spot, and they're really scared.
yeah.
They don't have the maneuverability and everything like that to keep that top spot, and they're just worried about competition.
I think it's more the
So
former. I really do think Sony's worried about the long term ramifications of this.
yeah,
I don't think they care that much about this 10-year deal about with COD. Like I'm sure they'd take it if they had to, right? But I think the reason they denied it is that's not what this is about for them. It's about, I think they're afraid of Microsoft leveraging COD eventually in small ways over time, and then eventually maybe in large ways into coercing people off of PlayStation onto Xbox and onto Game Pass, right?
yeah,
I think that's what Sony's really scared of ultimately at the end of the day. So, which I think is justified. I think they are justified to be scared of that. Because
yeah,
there is a point where Microsoft could get so big that Sony can't recover. Right. There's almost nothing they could do to get back into the race, as it were, if this were to work for Microsoft. So, um, we'll see. We'll keep you guys posted on this. We're gonna keep talking about it, of course, until it goes through. So, I'm sure there will be more news, hopefully, out of that FTC meeting that we hear about this week. So, all right, Montrell, let's move on. So this isn't a news story per se, as much as something we wanted to just discuss. So the Callisto Protocol came out last week, or earlier this week, and it has gotten some pretty mixed reviews, I would say. Um, there's been a lot of negativity from big review sites on this game, and a lot of big YouTube reviewers have been really negative on this game. I don't have a lot to say about it per se. Wasn't planning on playing this game, but it is interesting the way this has gone, because there was a significant hype machine for this game before it came out, right? I
yeah.
think a lot of people were convinced that this game was going to be incredible, and maybe that's contributing to this kind of negative reaction somewhat, because the game isn't quite up to the expectations maybe that people were giving it. But Montreal, what do you think? What do you make of all these reviews that you're seeing out there for
Um,
this game?
so I think one of it is a lot of people had to temper their expectations, or I think I'm saying the right word.
Yeah,
Um,
you are.
expectations or whatever. When I saw the game, I kind of went black on it. I didn't want to know anything else about the game. I was like, okay, I got my general information, saw some gameplay. Some of the previous developers of Dead Space made the game, or making the game. They're still an indie company, but they got a really huge endorsement from investment from people, and that's why they are able to make the game look so pretty as much as it does. And a lot of people comment on how pretty the game is, and everything of that nature. But for me, I tempered my expectations of it. Uh, and I want to go into the game because I haven't played it yet. Just to let y'all know, I have talked to people who have played the game. Um, and from those few people, in one player in particular, she plays nothing but horror games,
Mhm.
and uh, her viewpoint on it, I really value her viewpoint on it. It's from horror games because she kind of looks at horror games like I do. Um, and I don't know. I was talking to people, and uh, a lot of the reviews too come from PC, and PC is a very interesting thing.
Mhm.
I don't know what we can do about games on PC. I understand optimization is a thing because we talked about it on the Switch, with Pokemon and things of that nature. Um, but a lot of people are mad at the optimization of Callisto Protocol.
Mhm.
Ooh, excuse me, on Switch. And whereas compared to the console version, it's running flawlessly on console. It looks really good on console and everything. Like everybody says that. And a lot of the review bombing is coming from PC players who are like, yo, this game is fucking bad because I just can't play the game. The stuttering, I have the latest, I have the RTX fucking 39 Super ITI, whatever the fuck, I have all that shit. And it's stuttering for me and stuff like that. So I don't like that aspect of it because it's like you played it on the bad console. That's like playing Apex on fucking Switch, and you're like, Apex is fucking trash. I mean, it is trash, but Apex is fucking trash because, bro, like I'm playing this shit on the fucking Switch, and it's like, yeah, you're playing it on the fucking Switch. What did you expect? That's
Yeah.
like playing Nier on the Switch, and you're like, this game looks fucking bad, and you're like, did you play it on the Xbox or a fucking PlayStation 4 or 5? And it's
Mhm.
like, no. Or The Witcher 3, right? It looks bad on the Switch. And
Yeah.
that's what I'm comparing it to, right? So same thing with like Callisto Protocol. Like if it wasn't really, if the PC, which is kind of weird when you think about it, if it was made for that, if it wasn't made for that, it's made for consoles primarily because that's the big push for units, which I understand. And I think PC players, me being a PC player, I'm saying this to y'all, we have to be realistic. PC is not the main, y'all not the main bread and butter. Like a lot of people like to think they are, but they're not. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
So another thing, when I was just the reviews are just weird because I think everyone thought this game was going to be Dead Space, and it's not Dead Space,
Yeah.
and they're upset that it's not Dead Space.
Even
And
though
it's like
Dead
this
Space
is a
is coming out
total,
in like a month, dude. That's
yeah,
just like,
exactly.
yeah.
And it's like this is a whole different game, and I
Yeah.
understand the game is in the same genre and kind of looks the same. But when I saw the game, I said it on the podcast. I'm like, this game doesn't. It looks like Dead Space, but I don't think it's gonna play like Dead Space.
Yeah.
And you said why, and I'm like, because you have a lot more options as a character to do than you do in Dead Space. Now, Dead Space, you do have like the telekinesis and stuff like that. I think you get that in two or maybe one. I can't remember. You have the telekinesis, but you don't really have a dodge per se. At least what I remember, you don't have a dodge. And like Isaac is just very fucking slow. Like I just remember Isaac being slow. And you
Yeah.
do have tools at your disposal, but Isaac is fucking slow. And he's not like a superhero action character or whatever the fuck. And this character is almost like the same, like, but you have a dodge mechanic, and I heard the dodge mechanic is really bad. But then I watched a YouTube video or somebody explaining the dodge mechanic, and he was like, "It's actually very simple. You gotta do this, and you just gotta, do this and that." And then, so I haven't played it, and I don't know what the dodge mechanic is like. But I watched those two videos, and I watched people complain about it. Then I heard people complain about, well, the dodge mechanic's bad. If I'm getting into an area and there's fucking 3 zombies coming at me, like, bro, like if 3 zombies are coming at me, how am I supposed to get out of this situation? And dodge. If I dodge, I dodge to the other enemy. And it's like this has been an issue in survival horror games. A lot of people don't understand it's a horror game. So in horror games, you have a dodge mechanic even in Resident Evil 2 remake. You have one in Resident Evil 4 or not 4. Yeah, and 4. And you have one in Resident Evil 5 and stuff. You have a dodge mechanic.
Mhm.
And you can get surrounded by zombies, but it's also a survival horror game. So you have to learn how to mitigate and crowd control those zombies and mitigate and control your resources that you have available. There are plenty of times in Resident Evil 2 remake where I just left stuff there because I'm like, I'm probably going to come back and get this. I don't have enough inventory space to get this. Should I fight the zombie or should I not fight the zombie? Okay, I know there's 2 lickers in this room. Do I have the ammo to kill these 2 lickers and get that secret thing? And I think it's the same thing with Callisto Protocol, but you have the same, from when I was watching, you have like different environmental things you can use and everything like that. So it was hard for me to convey over Twitter. I was talking to somebody about it. Like, do you have different options available to you besides dodging? And from what I saw you do, if you die to 3 zombies in one area, then maybe you need to rethink how you approach that area. And a lot of people don't understand that's what survival horror games is. Like, yeah, the jump scares and stuff like that. But at the core of it, it's how you manage your resources, getting to the next area. What path should I take? How should I get past these 3 zombies that are fucking there? How do I get past them? And a lot of people don't understand that. And I think it's just weird. A lot of people are playing this game like an action game, and it's kind of almost advertised as an action game, but it's still a survival horror game. A lot of people are also upset that one staple for survival horror games is puzzles, and this game has 0 puzzles. That's not a spoiler. I watched every review says that they like there's no puzzles, and it's like, okay. Sometimes I'll be honest with y'all, I don't like the fucking puzzles in survival horror games. They're fucking easy as shit. They're like time racers to me, in my opinion.
Yeah, that's
I just don't
weird.
fucking care.
I mean, puzzles in general, dude. Like God of War is a good example. The game's got a ton of puzzles, and I just like
Yeah.
certain point, I'm like, okay, I get it. How many different ways can you make me fucking burn these bushes so that I can freeze that gear? Like, you know, it's like
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I understand puzzles, and I understand puzzles are a part of the game. I still say to this day, the only game that gave me a challenge in puzzles is the original Tomb Raider on the PS1. That game's maybe because I was younger, but the puzzles in that game were fucking hard. Like you had to know certain shit and remember, and you had to backtrack certain levels. It was crazy how hard the puzzles were in that game to me. And then ever since then, like the puzzles have gotten easier. But out of all the games, that was the easiest. And I'll even say the 90s, the original Resident Evil puzzles, those were pretty tough. Like you had to pay attention to certain stuff and everything of that nature throughout the levels and then figure it out, you know. So but a lot of these newer games, like the puzzles aren't hard, and they just aren't hard. And that's not to say like we shouldn't have them, but if they're gonna be like 4-year-old level type puzzles, bro, like we don't need them. Give me a challenging puzzle. Like just give me a fucking challenging puzzle. Like games like God of War do that shit where they kind of handhold you the entire time, and then they may give you like one tough puzzle, and you're like, "Oh, you're not holding my hand anymore," and then it goes back to holding your hand. It's just like certain, it's like really weird. There's one puzzle for me that happened. I was like, "Where do I go from there?" But I figured it out, but it was just like really weird. But the same thing with Callisto Protocol. It doesn't even have any puzzles because I think they just wanted to focus on the horror action element of it. And that's cool, and I don't mind that. And the people are like, well, you know, it's a straightforward game and everything like that. And I don't know what they're trying to go for. Like I said, I haven't played the game, but for me, if I'm playing an action horror game, I kind of do just want to go. If it's an action horror game, um, I kind of do just want to horde down zombies and play and get the occasional jump scare here and there and things of that nature. So maybe it needs to improve on that front, but also I think this is also a small team. So I don't know. It's just like a lot of like I feel like this is not to bring this game up again, but this is like a cyberpunk effect, but it's in the opposite direction, right? How we like people are going to be really critical in games and stuff like that now. And I feel like this is the after effects of one of some of these games like that, where they have this huge hype cycle and then don't live up to the expectations. So now people are just gonna fucking kill it, and I feel like that's what they're doing now. They're trying to overcompensate for Cyberpunk, especially one of these YouTubers. He did it with 2 games so far, and it's really annoying. And and I'm just like, bro, you hyped the fuck out of Cyberpunk and you gave it a glowing review, like.
Yeah.
And people are like, bro, what? Like, so I feel like he's like really trying to overcompensate for that.
Yeah.
And I feel like a lot of other people are trying to overcompensate for that. And I don't know. It's just weird. It's just I feel like it almost felt, no lie, it almost felt like people were paid to say bad things about this game. Like that's how bad. And I never get my conspiracy theory back like that, like brain thinking like that. But it's almost like, did somebody pay y'all to say this game was bad? Like, because they're all saying the same. Justin,
These
I really
things are
want you.
weird, man. Yeah, sorry, go ahead.
No, I really want you to like watch the reviews for the game because they all say the same thing, beat for beat, the same points, beat for beat. It's been a while since I've seen that for a game like that bad, like
Well,
for a mixed review game.
we see this with like positive reviews a lot more than negative ones, which is where the conspiracy theories come from, because obviously it's way more obvious that people wouldn't be incentivized to pay for positive reviews. But it's like, I don't know what it is, man. I think it's a thing. I think it's kind of a weird thing that I think it's a coincidence by the virtue of the fact that these people all have very similar mentalities in general, like the way they view the world, their politics, all that stuff put together. And that's how this kind of thing happens. It's weird that it happens that way, but it does. Like, I mean, there's just a lot of, I don't know. They I think this is the issue with games media in general right now. Like, it just continues to always play out this way, where they all have the same opinions about almost everything, and that extends into reviewing games as well, not just the things they cover. So
and it was just weird to me. I mean, I actually, you know what, the review cycles for games have been really weird. We already know like Cyberpunk exposed the industry for what it was, right?
Yeah.
And then I think now we're in the weird spot where people kind of move past Cyberpunk. I moved past it, you moved past it, I'm even really consider the Game of the Year edition of Cyberpunk. And to play that or whatever. But like the dichotomy between Pokemon and Sonic, and it's like, and even Callisto Protocol, and maybe it's like because I like Sonic and I want Callisto Protocol to be good. I can acknowledge that. Maybe it's just a really biased thing towards like me. I like Sonic, but I'm not about to sit here and say Sonic perfect. It's a 6 or 7 out of 10, which is a very doable game, especially for a 3D Sonic game. They kind of revamped a lot of stuff and they invigorated the franchise. But then you get Pokemon that gets the same score, and is, in my opinion, as a longtime Pokemon fan, and not even like a Gen 1er or a fucking boomer Pokemon fan. I don't even play the old games anymore because they're fucking outdated and they need to be updated. It's like, this game, Sword and Shield, wasn't it for me. And I thought this game was going to be it for me. And it's like, I don't understand how you can sit there and give these two games the same score when one has more money behind it, a bigger team, and it has a precedence for what people want from it, and it just doesn't deliver on it. Whereas the other game has a smaller team, it's already beat the shit. Like, no one's expecting to be good, and then it turns out to be good. You know what I'm saying? And they both managed to get the same score. It's just weird to me. It's just really weird to me. I don't know. I don't know. So this review cycle has been really weird for me. And actually, like, now I'm to the point now where I actually don't look at review cycle or reviews anymore. I just look at first impressions. I think first impressions are more honest than the reviewers of the game that they come out with. Like, even from people I trust, I feel like that's just what it is now. Because like a lot of people have biases and they have certain expectations for games where, like, for me, for you, and some other people in our friend circle, we actually go like dark on a lot of stuff, and we just like, all right, I'm not gonna touch it. I'm not gonna get my hype expectation for it. I'm just gonna, play it when it comes out. Like, I went totally dark on Final Fantasy 13 or Final Fantasy Crisis Core, and I don't even know what the fuck is going on with the game. I just know I got some base level information, and I'm dark on it because I know it's actually a remake, almost like a remake / remaster type deal. But anyway, And I understand that's an effect of the younger generation. But a lot of these YouTubers are like old as us now, and it's like y'all still don't have the mental capacity to, temper your expectations or temper your expectations. Y'all still don't have that mental capacity, so it's just really weird to me. And it's just like a lot of bias going around. Like it's really evident now with Pokemon, and then like Sonic, and then now Callisto Protocol. It's just super. It's just super like. And then people got upset at IGN because they were like, "Yo, it's a 6," and everyone's like, "What do you mean Pokemon's a 6?" And it's like, it's a 6, bro. This game's fucking terrible. Well, it's not fucking terrible. It's playable. It's fun, but it has a lot of issues that it needs to work on. It's a fucking 6.
Yeah,
but
I
then
think
too,
it's okay.
they'll give Madden. I'm sorry, but then too, they'll give Madden like an 8 or a 9.
Yeah.
So
right. Yeah. What did they give Madden 23?
I think they gave like an 8, a 9 or 8. I can't remember.
Because I remember Angry Joe going off against on that. something along that lines. But no, what you're talking about is like, I mean, it's kind of a big issue, I think, is because you're talking about, you brought up a good point with the fan base is kind of reacting to this stuff and like losing their mind, about these games. And like when somebody's like, oh, it's not as good as you think it is, and people, without having even played it yet, lose their shit and like say, oh, you don't know what you're talking about, dude. Oh, what the fuck, man? How could you possibly give it this score? It's like, dude, shut. Like, you haven't even played the game. And
Exactly.
it's like a reactionary thing where it's like, oh, somebody's talking shit about a game I like, oh, fuck them. Everybody needs to like this game. It's like, no, we don't. Like, it's okay that I don't like a thing that you like, and vice versa. I don't like that. I don't know why people feel this strong fucking need to just like convince other people that the things they like are good. Like, they need that validation, I don't understand why that's so prevalent, because it's everywhere, man. Like when you put a take on Twitter, if you have any amount of following at all, and like you've done it before where you talk shit about like Breath of the Wild or something, and people just fucking come at you, dude. And it's like, no, these are legitimate criticisms. I don't understand why you guys won't even like try to see what we're saying about this shit. It's like, I just find that so fucking weird. And I think the other thing I don't understand is, why do people feel like when somebody criticizes something they like, that somehow takes away from their love of it for some reason? I just like, I don't get that either. That doesn't.
I think it's a fear, and this is where I come on the other side of that spectrum. Because it happened with Sonic, right?
Yeah.
When you bag on a game that's known for being bad, and then people are like, "Hey, like this is actually a good game," and not just because I'm a Sonic fan, but I think it's actually legitimate, like a good game, good try. And they're like, people are like, "No, it's just shit. It's just shit." And it's like, and then you go out your way to shit on it. Like the Donkey video, I understand, like people were upset with the Sonic fan base for that, but I understood their frustration, right? Because this game's actually, like, they actually tried, and you can tell they tried. And I understand too, just because someone tried doesn't still make it good. But at the same time, this game was actually pretty decent. And I also understand the concept, like if you're fed shit and then they give you bread, you think the bread's the best thing on the earth or whatever. And it's like, I understand that concept as well. But like, and maybe Donkey did review the Pokemon game. I don't know, or not review it, but like he didn't do the same thing with like, with fucking Elden Ring, where Elden Ring got glowing reviews, but he didn't show people falling through the fucking earth and everything like that on his reviews, or his little parody videos, or whatever the fuck. And then flash the fucking like, the rating at the end of it, and like that was intentional, because he's like, oh, I don't understand how this game got this or whatever. And it's like, that was intentional. And then people start review bombing the game after that. Like, it was just very coordinated, in my opinion, and it was just really weird. So like, that's where the conspiracy theories come, and that's where people get defensive over their stuff. But at the same time, I understand too, is like, you should be able to enjoy the game. But then it's like, I do enjoy the game. I understand these improvements, but they need funding. So I need other people to buy the game and understand why the game is good, but also understand why the game needs funding and how it can improve on the game. So it's like a double-edged sword. You know, you see what I'm saying? So
no,
I don't know.
I mean, I totally get where you're coming from, and I think part of that is what kind of talk is like the answer to what I'm saying, right? But I think at the same time, I just I think maybe I'm more dulled, I guess, in this point in my life where I don't have a like passion for anything to that degree where I'm gonna get mad at people for like criticizing a game I like. I mean, maybe it's not even true, right? I'm thinking about an example of a podcast I was listening to a few weeks ago, and they were talking about Xenoblade Chronicles 3, and they were talking about how they couldn't get into the game and like didn't understand anything going on, and like they think it looks like shit on the Switch and everything. I will say I wanted to come to the game's defense, so I do get it. It's just the hate that comes with that. I think that is the part that I don't understand. Is like, why do you have to go so hard at people when they don't love the thing that you love? It's like, let's just calm down a little bit. Let's like take a step back,
Yeah.
And we don't need to fucking like torpedo things either, like going after Sonic and fucking review bombing Sonic for what reason is there to review bomb Sonic Frontiers, man? Like, what the fuck did that game do to anybody? Like, what has Sega ever done to anybody? Like, let's like chill the fuck out, dude. Like, I don't know. It's all that shit. It's just weird, It's like, let's all take a step back. There's a million things to consume out there that are of varying degrees of quality, but there's plenty of amazing shit out there,
Yeah.
And like, I'm gonna be honest, I am at the point, like, I love Tactics Ogre, right? And I love the fact that it got a remake. But if nobody buys it and Square Enix never touches Tactics Ogre again for the rest of my life, am I like going to be is my life going to be lesser for that? No, I'll be fine. It's okay. Tactics Ogre still exists. I can go play it, bro. Like, it's like, it's not like it's gone. They're not deleting it off the face of the earth. And those great Sonic games that are out there, they're out there. Like, they're still out there, you can still play them. So I like, and to be frank, Sonic's too big of a brand that Sega's not gonna fucking stop making Sonic games because one does poorly, because if that was the case, they would have already stopped making them because plenty of them have done poorly. So
yeah, I don't know. It's just weird. So so like for instance, right? I just watched the end of the Donkey video, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the user score, he puts up the user score. The Metacritic score in general is 71. Right now, the user score is 8.2. At the time when he made this video, the user score was at 8.8. And then he puts up other games in comparison to it, user score wise. So he puts up Super Mario Odyssey, which is 8.9 at the time. Then he puts up like Red Dead Redemption, which was 8.8. He puts up Hades, which is 8.8, and all that stuff like that. And he's implying that there's no way this game is as good as these games. And you see shit like that, and people are like, that's what their conspiracy.
It's like user score, though. Like, why is he even using that as why is he even trying to apply anything out of that? It's user score. Literally can be.
And I think
by review
that's
bombing.
why people are like upset about it. Like, and then after that, that's when the review. After this video came out, that's when the review bombing started.
Yeah.
And
I don't think it was a coordinated thing on his part. And I don't think he was like necessarily trying to direct people to do anything, but people saw that and were like, you know what? Donkey's right. Why the fuck is this so high? 0, it's like, I don't know. And that's fucked up. That is fucked up.
Yeah. So, and then like, and that's what I'm saying. Like, and then if you look at the comments, right, they kind of all mirror what he said or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But then on the other side, it's like Callisto Protocol. People are saying the same things, and it's like maybe that shit is true. But my thing is, I already tainted my head with the review, so I'm definitely gonna go dark on this. I'm not gonna buy it now for like a couple months until I like forget a lot of the shit that people said on it. But I feel like a lot of people either talk to each other and they're like, yeah, man, like this, and that, and the third, and they just all had the same opinions on it, or they went in with the same opinions on it,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't know. It's just weird that it's just kind of rare that when you see that for a game that everybody has the same type of like thing on. And it was almost like that for Cyberpunk too. Like everybody had the same type of like criticism for it. Um, but that was also like, in my opinion, like a lot of reviewers in the industry trying to save their ass as
Yeah.
well for Cyberpunk. So
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just weird. I think reviewing in general, I think the number scheme thing needs to go away. I think there needs to be some type of other way to say like one of the guys I did watch, he actually changed his scheme. He's like recommending it or I don't recommend it. Even that's kind of like, I think there just needs to be like, well, if you guys like this, and that, and the third, this is like the game for you. If you're expecting this, then this is not the game for you. I think that's how reviews should be done. I think the whole number system needs to change. And I know it's not going to change for the major outlets, but I think reviewers for like YouTubing and everything like that, I think they have the power to change that. You know, would you buy it? Would you rent it? Or would you like, wait for it's on sale or just not buy it at all? I think that's a really good gauge. Me and you kind of follow that gauge where we're like, I'm going to wait for a sales drop and I'm going to pick it up.
Yeah.
So yeah, so that's all I had to say. Like, I just think Callisto Protocol is one of those victims of like a shitty reviewing environment that we're in for games right now. It's just a really bad time for reviewing games, and I just actually don't trust any reviews. Like, it's just weird. Like, it's almost like fake news, right? Like, it's a really crazy thing to say, but like it is like that. So I don't know.
Yeah. No, I get it. I get it. I mean, yeah, I don't. I mean, I doubt the game was targeted, right? But it's like, it's just weird how coincidental this stuff can be, though. Sometimes, and it I don't know. It feels like a game that, because I'm starting to see the contrarian opinion come out now about this, though. Now that we've had a few days to sit on it, and there are people coming out now like, I don't get these reviews. I don't understand. I'm totally like on the opposite side of consensus. I think this game is fucking awesome. So, I'm not sure. I don't know. And when you look at the meta score for this game, like the critic list, like, dude, there is a wide range of scores, all the way from 100 to fucking 30. So, like, it is a very divisive. It seems to be a very divisive game. Looking at the spectrum of scores. So, but do you plan on playing it soon?
Probably not for a couple months. I'll probably play it at the end of February or something like that.
Okay. Well, be interested to see what your take on it is when you finally do play it. All right, Montrell, let's move on. We got a couple listener questions to get through.
And
the first one I forgot earlier to mention when we were talking about Overwatch, but DJ asked us, may we please add a surrender button to matches? And I'm sure he's talking about Overwatch. DJ, we do not have that power. I'm sorry, my friend. I appreciate. He must have been struggling the other night because he sent this 2 days ago. So I think that was when we were playing. So
yeah, we were playing.
Yeah. So, all right, and then our second question was from Dat Dude, and he asks us, in my opinion, 2022 has been a very solid year for game releases, and I know that this is subjective to preference, but I am curious what y'all thoughts are. What letter grade would you give 2022 overall as far as game releases? Why?
I don't know about letter grade. I'll try. I would say like a B plus. I don't think the releases this year were horrible.
Yeah. The exact grade I was thinking of as well. Well, so I would also give it a B plus, and I literally would use the wording he used here, is that it was a solid, very solid year for game releases. I think there were some really good games this year. It is not a top tier, fucking blow my hair back, best year of all time kind of year.
It's no 2018.
Yeah, or 2017.
Yeah, 2017.
Yeah, right. Or 2018 actually. It's definitely not those, but I think it was a really, really good year, to the point that I think when I'm thinking about this, I always think about our game of the year episodes where whether me and Montrell actually have enough games to even talk about within a given year for that episode. Like last year was a fucking struggle for us. because there was like none of the games we played like were really up to snuff that like came out last year. So we really had to like pick some shit that was like shit we actually enjoyed. That's why we focus on games we enjoyed rather than like focusing on games that came out during the year. This year, I don't think we're gonna have that problem. Like I have at least 5 games that came out this year that I would put on a game of the year list, probably.
Yeah.
So it's like that's kind of the way I think about it because we are coming up on that time, and I actually have been thinking about this lately. Is like, what would my game of the year be? And I know what the game is right now, but maybe God of War will change that before the end, but we'll see on that for sure. But it's like it's been a good year. It's definitely been a good year. I've enjoyed this year. There's definitely been some games I didn't get a chance to play that I wish I had. I'm looking at one right now, which is Tiny Tina's Wonderlands. And then Elden Ring I never got around to, and Dying Light 2 I never actually played either. All of which I want to play all of those. So after I'm done with God of War, I'm probably gonna put one of those in and start playing them because I want to get through one more game
this year.
I want to get through one more game before the end of the year to have to talk about when we do game of the year discussions. So, but yeah, what else? Anything else you want to say?
I think this is a very solid year. I keep forgetting about the beginning of the year. It seems so long.
There were so many games, dude. Yeah.
Yeah. And a lot of games did release back to back that I did play and finish. Then I went on that Xenoblade run.
Oh yeah, that was this year too. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. Fucking.
I did the whole franchise except for X.
I can't believe you did that. I still have to commend you on that. Your willpower is unbelievable. Yeah, there was. I mean, Sifu earlier in the year. Montreal Sunbreak gonna make your game of the year list. Spoilers.
No. It's not gonna make it.
Fuck no. Fuck no.
Well, for top 5, I mean, I'm struggling right now to think of my top 5. To be
I already know what. I think I already know what the 5 are probably, but there's some things you didn't play that I played, and that you played that I didn't play. So
yeah,
we may have, which is good actually. I kind of like that because we end up talking about more games overall. So yeah.
I don't know. I think this year was a very diverse year. I'm actually really proud of the player base, players in general. Mm-hmm. A lot of games went platinum, like sold some decent amount of games and stuff like that were niche. So I'm actually very proud of like players. Like, I mean, I know we had our Call of Duties, our Maddens, our 2Ks. But like I can't even say that now. In our Mario Karts, fuck. But I'm actually proud. Like, people were like diversifying their folder. I think the game industry is actually starting to realize that, and they're making different games. So I'm actually more stoked for the beginning of next year than I am ever before. I think I'm hoping 2023 is our 2018 or 2017. Because 2027, I'm sorry, 2017 rather, was a very solid year, and then 2018 followed it up with another very solid year. So I'm assuming 2023 is going to be that for us. 2022 was an overall solid year. Yeah. I didn't even play Pokemon yet. I'm still looking forward to playing the game, regardless of the glitches and stuff like that. I think it's a still very solid game. All of the changes, as far as like mechanics and battle wise, I think are like up my alley.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know. It's just a very solid year. Like there hasn't really been a game that just turned me completely off. Besides actually Sunbreak, that was like I think one of the few games in Apex.
I think
like one of my 2 favorite games. Like they completely turned me off this year.
I'm thinking about it. I think you're right. There weren't any games that were like total disappointments.
Yeah.
That like just completely missed. I mean, Sunbreak. I know we're talking shit about it, but we did play it for a while.
We did play that a lot of that shit. Yeah.
We did put a lot of hours in it. Like it probably go in my honorable mentions.
It was very fun, especially when you have a group of people playing. Like
I think for what we want on a Monster Hunter, it's not delivering that for us anymore.
Yeah. We're Monster Hunter snobs, so that I think if you haven't played a Monster Hunter,
snobs though, like Capcom did this themselves. They set that expectation by delivering such high quality up to this point.
Yeah.
To start chipping away at that quality delivery, that's not our fault to call that out, not in my opinion. So I don't think we're being snobs by saying that the game is not quite up to the standards they've set in the past, and we are maybe being snobs by predicting that it's about to go downhill for the franchise. That's probably the snob part coming out, but we're just reading the tea leaves. So, we just make predictions. We don't make the things happen. So, but, all right, Montrell, I think this was a good episode. I did forget to mention at the top. So if you're still listening, thank you very much. We are not, obviously, this is coming out the day after the Game Awards airs. And
yes.
we did not cover the Game Awards at all in this episode. So we will be covering that next week because unfortunately, we are recording a day early this week. And not only that, the Game Awards, even if we weren't, are airing literally the hours that we record this show normally. So it is the worst possible fucking time for them to air that for us because we're not going to push the show back a day to cover the Game Awards. So we will just cover it next week, and that'll probably be the whole episode, most likely, unless some major shit happens with Microsoft or something else. But so yeah, look forward to that. All right. If you guys like this episode, please like this episode, review the show, and subscribe to the show on whatever feed you are listening to it on. And please share it with your friends. If you'd like to interact with us on Twitter, you can do so at iTrap for the Hokage for Montrell. That is the number 4, not the word. I'm at ThunderNut01, and the show is at The Player's Take. If you'd like to send us a question, you can do so at on Twitter, or you can send us an email to theplayerstake01@gmail.com, just like that dude and DJ did. All right. Thank you, Montrell, for joining me today. Oh, God. Just hit my mic. And we hope you enjoyed this episode. We'll see you next week.